Hey guys, your first STAAR video is called Why Party, Zero Party. We're going to be talking about using the calculator to type equations in and what it takes to do that. So if I go to my home screen on my calculator and I choose graph or the scratch pad, which is this button, I only can type things in if it says y equals, which in my calculator is f of x equals. Remember that those are interchangeable. There is an alternative option. If my equation equals 0, I could type in the part before the equal 0 and it would still work. Okay. All right. So in order to do that, I want to go over a couple rules and then you're going to do a very similar problem. First one we want to talk about is if a question asks you what are the solutions or the zeros or the x-intercepts, we have to make sure anything that's quadratic meaning it has an x squared, anything that's quadratic has to be equal to 0 because there's not going to be a y value. Remember that anytime something moves over the equal sign, it changes to the opposite sign. So if that 10 was a plus 10x and I move it over the equal sign, now it's a negative. If that 8 was a negative on the right-hand side and I move it over the equal side, it changes to a plus. So make yourself a note that you have to change the signs when you move over the x-axis, when you move over the equal side. When you move over equal, okay? All right, so now that I have my equation, 2x squared minus 10x plus 8, I'm going to type this part into my calculator. You'll see that here. If I start that out, 2x squared minus 10x plus 8, and I enter. Remember, solutions we've learned are just wherever it crosses the x-axis. This is super easy if I can use the calculator because we have that really easy shortcut button that says menu, trace, and all I have to do is use my arrows and find where it equals 0. So there's my first one. See how it told me it was equal to 0? Let me show you again. It literally says 0. So my first answer was 1, 0. We put that one here. If I keep moving my arrows to the right, I can get my second one. And that is right here. It literally says it's going to make it equal 0. And that point was 4, 0. Remember, we're only giving the x's. Okay? All right, not too bad. Whenever you're using a graph on the calculator, you can hit the delete button, hold it down. It's going to say, do you want to delete everything? Yes, I do. Hit yes. And then the tab button is how you will type a new one. So I'll put that here. Remember, tab helps you type a new graph. Okay. All right, second problem that I'm going to show you is rewriting for a y equals. So same rules apply. We're trying to get a y that's positive by itself. So that means I would be trying to get this value by itself. Anything that I move over the equal sign has to change signs. So if I move this 3 over to the other side, it's going to change to a minus 3x. Okay. In this case, my problem literally already says y equals. I don't have to do anything else. But if I was, going to type it in the calculator, I would be able to come up here to the button tab, T-A-B, and I could type that equation in now that it starts with y equals. So 7 minus 3x, enter. I could answer a lot of different questions with it. I could answer where does it cross the x-axis? It's like 2 point something. I could answer where does it cross the y-axis, like 7 point something. And when we get to all of the menu options, you actually can answer a lot more questions like what's the slope of this line? What are the intercepts? What is the rate of change? What is the value when x is 1? There's a ton of things that it might ask you, but we have to know how to make it equal y in order to type it in. Okay, let's try one more. Remember, I can hit delete, hold it down. Next one says rewrite for a y equals. Okay, so in this problem, my y is not alone. He is stuck next to that 2. So here's the rule. You got to move away from him first. That negative 2 is like his best friend. I'm going to move that guy last. So if I think about the 6 is already on the other side, he's away from y. Moving this 4x to the other side changes it to a plus 4x. And if I need to get rid of this 2 right next to the y, he's stuck to y. So anything that's dividing is going to go underneath that fraction. Now, when we taught this originally, we broke it into 2 pieces. So we actually put the negative 2 under both of these. You don't need to do that. The calculator doesn't care if you've written it like mx plus b. It just cares that all the numbers are away from y. So if I'm going to type this in, I would hit tab to type a new one. It's a fraction. It's a big fraction. So I'm going to start with that. Control, divide is how I build that big fraction. 6 is what I started with, plus 4x because he moved to the other side. He changed. And then whoever was next to y is who goes on the bottom, so -2. It will let me graph it like that, even though it's not in, quote, mx plus b form. Okay? All right, I would love for you guys to try the bottom 3. They should look exactly like what I just went over. Go ahead and try those now, and then check them with the answer key.